Hi guys, thank you for watching. My name's Debbie if we've not met before. Welcome to my channel and to this video. It's going to be a first impressions with the Nomad Cosmetics Orient Express palette. This beautiful palette here. So excited for this one guys. As soon as I saw it released, I just knew I had to own it. Love Nomad anyway, but I just think the concept of this is just stunning. So it arrived in the post today. Today's Wednesday. I'm filming it in the evening that I've received it, which I never do. So if you want to see the inside of the palette, see me create my first look with it and just give you some thoughts on the shades, then please keep on watching. Okay guys, so as I say, this is the outside of the palette and it's like kind of like a cushion. It's like you can press your fingers into it. It's velvet, it's just stunning. It comes in a box like this as well, which has got beautiful like 1920s kind of artwork on it. It's just so appealing to me. It's just stunning. And what made me so excited to pick this up is just the whole way that the theme has been carried through it. You guys know I'm such a packaging person if you've been here before, but it's almost like the inside cardboard is like the wood of like the panelling on the Orient Express train, and then the journey that they're taking on the train, it sort of goes from London to Paris, etc. And all of these shades with like the line that goes through there, sort of in a zigzag, they're all of the shimmer shades, and then the rest of the mattes. But there's 2 or 3 different formulas in here, which always excites me. And it's a neutral palette, but with lots of interesting pops of colour. So right up my alley, and I just love Nomad's formula. I already know that. So as soon as I saw it, as I said, I just knew I had to own it. Today I'm going to dip into the blues, which, if you know me, is not normally my first thing to do, but just really like the look of this Bon Voyage shade and the Simplon Pass shade, so I definitely want to use those two, and maybe the London shade as well. But not going to do anything super complicated, just really want to play with it, and then I'll probably, as I say, do a couple more looks with it when I've got a bit more time on the weekend, something a bit more complicated then. But as I say, I'm just excited to play with it really. So I'm going to prime today with the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer in Chantilly. I've been enjoying this as a primer just lately. I just think it cancels out my redness, doesn't crease on me, it's quite light, so it shows off the pigmentation quite well. So yeah, it doesn't really work for me as a concealer. It's not the right shade really for me as a concealer, but works really well as an eyeshadow base. As I say, the focus of my look is going to be that Bon Voyage shade in my crease. So we're going to start with that, and I'm going to build that up kind of in my inner corner first, I think. Which is not normally the way I do it, but that's what we're going to do today. And I might use Étoile de Nord, which is the green, in my outer corner. That's already applying super nicely. I love the kind of creaminess of the mattes from Nomad. Just really work well for me. Taking that slightly above my crease, and if we've got any of it falling down on my lids, which we do have a little bit but not too much, doesn't matter because we're going to cover that with a shimmer. I bought this more so for the more neutral shades, which sounds like a strange thing for a colourful eyeshadow lover to say, but I think because there's so many different textures in here, it's a really interesting palette, and I don't have that many neutral palettes. And if I'm going to buy a neutral palette, one with pops of colour and different kind of textures in is the way to go for me. So that was one of the things that attracted me, but other than that was the theme. I've never seen a theme like this done before. It's like, if you don't know, Nomad's whole kind of aesthetic is that it's a travel brand, so all of the palettes are named after destinations that they've visited or inspired by that. I don't know if they've been to all of them, but inspired by that. But for the Orient Express, it's like travel as the destination, and I can so vibe with that because I go on a lot of cruises, and the ship is kind of like the mode of travel, but it's also part of the destination as well. I've always wanted to go on the Orient Express and never have, but the whole sort of glamour of like the 1920s and whatever just really appeals to me. Alright, that's getting super intense super quickly. I'm going to just bring that down a peg or two. I'm going to use Guilty 12, which I think is the name of a cocktail. Might be wrong, but I think so because it's got a picture of a martini glass and I seem to remember it being a cocktail name. I'm just going to blend using that just on the inner portion there where I've laid down that blue, just to calm things down somewhat because I've got a little bit of ham in that corner. So I'm going to take a Toile de Nord and I'm going to continue the crease onwards with that. I'm going to angle that out slightly just to give me a bit more room for shimmers. That one's not as crazy pigmented as the blue shade, but still really, really pretty. Love green eyeshadow, that was another reason why I was tempted by this one. There's a shade in here called Oriental, and that's like a grungy, darker green, like a olivey green, and I think that went beautiful with this one. Just building up that pigment, but winging it out slightly, kind of cut crease styly. That one I'd say is a bit more of a buildable kind of formula. I'm still getting plenty of pigment out of it, but it wasn't quite so bam in your face as that Bon Voyage blue. Just going to blend that out a bit at the edges there. Going to go back into that Guilty 12 shade, just the kind of blending shade. It's a great shade to have in a palette for me, and I think that helps me to get a blend. Is always a good shade. I know a lot of people complain about having a shade like this, but I think it definitely helps. You don't want every shade in the palette to be colourful really, because then unless you've got really good blending skills it does get quite difficult. Right, I love how that's looking. I'm going to apply glitter primer in a cut creasy style. This was not going to be a complicated look and it's kind of evolving into one already. I'm going to use my cut crease brush by Sigma because that's a good one for this kind of shape. The temptation is to use the Venice shade because that's a beautiful duochrome, but I think I'm going to save that one for a bit more of a neutrally look that I have in mind. So, I think we need to use that Simple on Pass, but it's not going to work with a cut crease, is it? I might save that one today. I'm going to use London and I'm going to use Istanbul. So we're going to use gold and then this pink, I think. So I'm going to use the pink on the inner part and then fade it into the gold. This is the London shade. That's pretty soft. It's going to go beautiful with the red, the Roaring 20 shade. I'm dying to use that shade. I think that's beautiful. And this is a stunning shade. It's more of a topper shade, I would say, but it's got beautiful pink sparkle to it. So I'm going to flip the brush over and go into the Istanbul shade. See how beautiful that colour is, it's stunning. This is quite a classy palette, I think. Like I can imagine taking this on a cruise holiday and being able to wear most of these shades like my formal wear. They're not too out there. Decided to use that Simple on Pass on my lower lash line. I'm going to press it up against my lashes. I think that could look pretty. It's quite a creamy shimmer. I think it's going to work okay. So I'm just going to bring that up into sort of a V shape. You can see what I'm doing just to meet up with that green in the outer corner. Just going to take a bit of the Baby Grand shade just to blend below there. Just taking a brush with no additional product just to remove any of that excess product. I just wanted it to softly blend out that blue. Going to go in with Arlberg Pass as my inner corner highlight. That one looks really pretty. Okay, that's the look to this point. Just going to hop off camera for something in my waterline, some mascara and a lip, and I'll be back with you to show you the finished look and give you some thoughts on the shades I've tried so far. Okay guys, here's the finished look. So I've got lashings of Bad Girl Band mascara on for that kind of doll eyes kind of effect, and I've got Cool Mood by Linda Hallberg in my waterline. Just wanted to pull out that blue on my lower lash line. Lipstick is Narbla's Platinum, and chose that because there's quite a lot going on the eyes. I think a neutral kind of lip really works with this kind of a look. There's just too much to kind of pair it with otherwise. So really enjoyed creating this. It was not planned at all. I just kind of put some colours on my eyes and just had a bit of a playtime with the palette really, just to try out some of the formulas, and I think it's come out okay. So my thoughts so far, I love that London shade. That's the one on the inner part there. It's really delicate and soft and pretty, but it's got some shimmer to it. It's more like a topper shade I would say, but it's stunning. It's like a duochrome to a peach to a pink I would say. The Istanbul shade is really gorgeous, like foiled gold. The blue Bon Voyage, that's super kind of vivid. Like even with all the blending I did, it's still really strong pigment. The Toile de Nord, I thought it's a gorgeous shade of green, and that L'Oriental shade, I'm probably butchering the name there, but that one with that I think would look gorgeous together. And then I've used Simple en Passe on my lower lash line. I think that would be better on my lid, but it worked okay on my lower lash. And then there's some nice blending out shades as well. So I've used quite a lot of shades. I tried to dip into as many as I could just to test them out, but eager to do something with the neutrals actually, and I really want to play with this red. So I think I'll do maybe 2 looks 1 palette at the weekend with this, just to show some of the things you can do with it, because I've heard a lot of people say, you know, it's a neutral palette with very similar shades, but when you get it, the textures are also different to one another, and I think it's a very versatile palette. So hope you've enjoyed seeing me create my first look with it. Did you guys pick this one up? I'd love to know. And if you're new to my channel, love it if you consider subscribing before you go. But other than that guys, hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are. Catch you in the next one. Bye guys.